Hello, and welcome to the Radiant Mission podcast. My name is Rebecca Twomey, and I am here with our special guest, Dr. Vaughn, who has joined us for this awesome series on health the past couple of episodes. So thank you again for joining us, Dr. Vaughn.
Thank you.
Just as a reminder, if this is your first episode you're listening to with Dr. Vaughn, please go back and listen to the previous two episodes because he's awesome. And he is a traditional naturopath and I keep wanting to say iridologist. And he focuses on helping people discover the root cause of their chronic illness. He's looking at the whole body from a design perspective and helping people to understand the links between God, creation, health, sickness, and disease. And if you'd like to connect with Dr. Vaughn, please be sure to check our show notes. I will link all of these there. But he is available on his website, spiritofhealthkc.com. He also has an awesome store. So that's store.spiritofhealthkc.com. On Facebook, /Spirit of Health, Instagram, /Spirit of Health KC, and on YouTube at Spirit of Health KC, which you're definitely going to want to check out because he actually has a series on the topic that we're going to talk about today, and that is allergies. We are in the midst of allergy season, or depending on who you are, you might have allergies all of the time, or you may have flare-up situations or other specific scenarios when it comes to allergies. But this was something that we wanted to jump into as a specific topic because, if you guys have been listening to the show, I've had some issues with allergies, and it took using dandelion root to clear my liver and kidneys a couple of years back in order to realize, wait a second, this is a lot deeper than just the symptoms of allergies. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you have allergies or know someone that has allergies, listen and share this with a friend. Let's talk about this. I mentioned that I've been learning a lot about it, and its ties to the gut, but also the liver and the kidneys being the biggest thing related to allergies. And in one of your videos, you use these two words, blocked filters. And that was like one of those light bulb moments, like what a great way to describe what's going on in our inside of our bodies, that when we have all of these, congestion and runny nose and itchy eyes, right, that's not the problem. It's coming from the root inside of us that our system is blocked up and we need to clear it. So talk to us about that.
So dive in, huh?
Just dive in.
I would distinguish that there is a difference between seasonal allergies and food allergies. So in other words, environmental allergies versus what we'd call a food sensitivity or food allergy. And I'm happy to discuss both of them on this episode if you want, because they are different. Because there are people saying right now, like, yeah, I have seasonal allergies to dust and pollen and this and that. But then there's people like, I have an allergy to gluten. I have an allergy to dairy. So those are actually different things, especially related to the immune system and Th1 and Th2 immunity and how that whole system works.
Perfect.
But it sounds to me like maybe initially you're talking more about the seasonal allergies, the things that we encounter in the air, in the spring and in the fall. And you mentioned blocked filters. So I always love to explain to people that our bodies are fearfully and wonderfully made, and they're always attempting to heal themselves. They're always attempting to do what's best for the body because our bodies are holy. This is our holy temple. So everything God did in the goodness of creation and design is an attempt to keep these bodies healthy, to keep toxins and poisons and things out. So when we're encountering something in the air and our body's rejecting it or saying that there's a problem, there's a reason. Either that thing is bad and it shouldn't be in our body at all, which obviously there's a lot of chemicals and toxins and poisons and things in our body, and certain jobs we might do where we might wear a mask if we're a welder or, whatever. There's certain things we don't want in our body that it's going to react to because it's not supposed to be in there. But there's also this reality that just normal things that we experience, like cat hair or dog hair or dust or pollen, we're having an allergy to because I believe our mucosal system primarily is congested. It's blocked, or like you said, blocked filters. So the body's pretty phenomenal thing in that it's this system of thousands of miles of tubes. You might have heard that the cardiovascular system, at low estimates, the cardiovascular system is 60,000 miles long inside of your body. That's the low estimate.
Wow.
And the lymphatic system is we have twice as much lymph in our body than cardiovascular vessels. So we literally have tens of thousands of miles of tubes that get clogged up. And we don't think about it a lot until it's a problem.
Yeah.
And so then how do we deal with that problem? So if the body's trying to create mucus to get rid of something, do you think a good solution is to go to the drugstore and buy Claritin to dry up our mucosal system so that we can't eliminate that mucus anymore?
Of course. That seems like the logical solution.
Of course. So you think about Mucinex and Claritin and, whatever, there's all kinds of stuff out there, but they're designed to stop what's happening.
Yes.
Because that's what we want. We don't like
Suppression.
it. It's uncomfortable. And I want to stop this thing from happening. But what you're stopping from happening is the body trying to eliminate what shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And so that's going to lead to longer term, deeper seated illness in the body as we allow these things in the body that the body's trying to eliminate. So partnering with God is actually taking things and doing things that help the body eliminate, that help the process that's already in motion that we call a symptom that we want to work with. So there's so many things we can do, right? So many things. Cleanses. So on my website, I have tons of cleanses. I have a colon cleanse and a kidney cleanse and a lymphatic system cleanse and a liver cleanse and da-da-da-da-da. You can look at all the cleanses. But just cleansing your colon or just doing a lymphatic system cleanse or a kidney cleanse or a liver cleanse. And there's kind of an order to cleansing, and we can talk about that sometime if you want. I have seen so many people's allergies just mysteriously disappear because they did a cleanse. So the colon cleanse would be, I would say, number one, because that's the main area of elimination of your body. Okay. So your colon needs to be clear.
So, this cleanse comes in and basically squeaky cleans it up, car wash.
Right.
Yeah.
Car wash. And we're not just washing the giant tube that goes from here to the other end that's like 25, 27 feet of intestines and colon. That's this like closed loop system. We're actually cleansing tens of thousands of miles of tubes connected to the bowels.
Okay.
Also called GALT, which is a gut-associated lymphatic tissue, which is where a lot of these immune responses are taking place in this mucosal system of what we call Th1 immunity, of where the body's responding to these foreign invaders coming in because the filters are blocked and it can't be eliminated quickly in the way it should be. And so now we're having an immune response.
What are they blocked up with? French fries? I mean,
yeah.
What's blocking up our tubes, Dr. Vaughn?
Junk. I work with a lot of chronically ill people, and I tell people this in all seriousness, that you're getting better when old, sick, gross, toxic, stinky waste starts coming out of your body. You can't get better until that happens because the body is so gummed up with those what we call trans fats, those hydrogenated fats and oils clogging up our pipes, mucus. We've talked a little bit in the past about infectious disease, parasites, mold, Lyme disease. Like these things are causing our bodies to be toxic and congested and clogged up. And so the allergy is a symptom. right? It's a response of the body saying, hey, I'm trying to get rid of this thing and I can't, or this thing's not supposed to be here. Can you please help me get rid of it?
Interesting.
Again, we think of everything as bad.
Yeah.
Allergies bad. Everything's bad. No, God is good. And we need to understand what's happening so we can partner with what God's trying to do with our bodies. And allergies is no different.
He's throwing that as a sign to us to say, hey, something's up here. And we've been talking about this, how our society today is all about suppression of those symptoms. But what we're trying to talk about and what you're really sharing, your mission is no, partner with the Lord, because he's trying to teach you something and he's trying to help you heal. So let's
Yes.
tap into that. So I can definitely relate to this from both ends when it comes to allergies, the something that shouldn't be inside of your body part, and the other side with just kind of seasonal allergies, pet dander and stuff, because I started to randomly have an allergy to dogs when I was in my late teen years. After we had a dog, we had cats, I was around animals, but I was around this one golden retriever, and every time I would go around this dog, my eyes would swell shut. And so what did I do? I went to an allergist and got allergy tested. And they're like, oh, you're allergic to everything. You're allergic to mold and dust and mites and trees and dogs and cats, right? And at that point in my life, I, didn't know any better. I just followed along with what they were saying, and they said you should get allergy shots.
Right.
So I got allergy shots.
Right.
And I would say in some ways I guess it did help, because at least I wasn't taking the Claritin stuff anymore. I wasn't taking the antihistamines, but it didn't teach me anything, right? I didn't learn anything about my body and my system and the clogs. It wasn't until years later when I started randomly having anaphylactic reactions out of nowhere that I was like, what is going on here? And again, I went to an allergist, and you know what she said to me? She goes, we're never going to figure out what's wrong with you. You're just a highly allergic person. That was what she said to me.
Yikes.
Funny enough, I had a patch test done. And one of the things, which is kind of ironic now that I'm like so against a lot of the things that I did back in these days, but my husband could not believe that I was doing this test because they were literally putting like toxic chemicals on my back. And he's like, I can't believe you're getting these toxic things put on your body. But one of the things it led to was saying that there was a dye allergy. And I was able to pinpoint what the problem was, but it took a couple more reactions that I discovered I was highly allergic to red 4, which is also called carmine, which is made out of the cochineal beetle. And from what I've read, they have this red poison inside of their bodies that's meant to, they spray it out kind of like a skunk would to predators, or if they're attacked, I guess it's poisonous to other insects or something, or small animals. I'm not really sure on all the details of what, but we use it in cosmetics and in food products, and it's highly allergic, or people are
Can
highly
I ask you a
allergic
quick
to
question? Can I interject? Biblically speaking, is a beetle clean or unclean?
A beetle is totally unclean.
So
We
is
should
it
not be
meant
consuming
by
beetles.
God to be in the human body?
It should not be in the human body.
This is
100%.
the battle that we're in today.
Yes.
It really is a spiritual battle.
You are 100% on this. This should have never been inside of my body. Of course, I'm living in the world, right? I don't know what this is. Oh, red 4? But no one explains that red 4 is made out of these bugs. But then as soon as I put the pieces together, I'm like, wow, this is crazy that we're using poison inside of foods and in cosmetics and lipstick, eyeshadows. They're in almost every brand uses red 4 in their eyeshadows.
Yeah.
And it's so this is, I guess this is all to say these are two different types of reactions. Just like you said, one of them is kind of environmental. And then this was something I was putting inside of myself that I never should have. This shouldn't be ingested. Right. And I don't know how to tell people or guide people on how to avoid this kind of thing, except for to say, read the ingredient lists on the things that you put inside your body and look into them. But I guess that's the problem with processed foods, right? Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't be having, having processed foods.
Right.
Well, we shouldn't, but
Yeah.
anyhow, it's
Yeah.
all to say this kind of led down this detox route and this idea and this concept that, I needed to cleanse my system from blockages from the seasonal stuff, but then also this reaction to this poison that was being put inside.
Yeah.
So I think a
So,
lot of people have both of those, right? We have the peanut allergy people that fall on the, maybe that's more similar to the red 4 thing, and the seasonal or cedar fever people who might have things on more of the seasonal side. So,
yeah.
I'm going to let you go where you want to go with that.
So I was going to get practical because I think it's important for people to know practically what they can do for their seasonal allergies,
Perfect.
some very, very
Let's do
simple
that.
things. And then I was going to touch on food allergies because it is a bit of a different animal. Okay.
Let's do it.
So, pun intended. So, the seasonal allergies, from a practical standpoint, is going to be formulas. Now, there's different herbs and different things I've used over the years. My favorite formula is called Hello Blossom. It's by Herbally Grounded. We have a store and sell these things, but I've used that for 10 years with people with allergies. So it has herbs that help with circulation in the head. So for the eye, sinuses, circulation herbs, and then the first ingredient's clay, bentonite clay. And so the clay binds the allergens and pulls them out of the system. And so what you have to do is you have to take enough to stop the response or to have symptom improvement. So usually I have people take 2 every couple of hours until symptoms improve, and then they can take like 4 a day for maintenance.
Okay.
So that's the Hello Blossom. Or any formula with clay. You can take liquid clay, put it in a little water and drink it. Again, that's going to bind or adsorb, not absorb, adsorb, bind things that shouldn't be there and pull them out of the system. You can take natural antihistamines. There's one called D-Hist that I really like by Orthomolecular. There's all kinds of natural antihistamines out there that help people with allergic responses. But I mentioned the cleanses. So the colon cleanse, I would say, would be first. That's huge. Kidney cleanse and lymphatic system cleanse. And lymph actually probably being one of the key things to work on and cleanse, where a lot of these quote unquote filters are blocked. That's one of my favorite cleanses. I have lots of stories and testimonials from people, all kinds of things, like doing the lymphatic cleanse that the healing benefits they've seen from the lymph cleanse. So that's a big one. And then here's one of my favorite things that everyone needs to really jump on. At some point, it'd be great to talk about the mouth and dental stuff and the role that plays. But the head in general, specifically the sinus cavity.
Okay.
And so a lot of people have heard about neti pots.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We have something on our website that's basically like the Cadillac of neti pots because it's electric, and it's called a Navage. Have you heard of the Navage?
I've heard of it, but I don't have one.
Okay. So you got to get a Navage. Everybody out there's got to get a Navage because this head, so many things with the head. But if you think about like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and we're talking about allergies right now, but if you think about these brain conditions, people have toxic poisons trapped in their head. And they're just labeling it degenerative disease and giving it these disease names like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and different things. There's a reason that these things happen. And it's actually mold and fungus and parasites in these things affecting the human brain. Okay, so that's a side note that's like, wow, what?
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'm talking right now, like working on your head and your sinus cavity in a real serious way to help detox your brain. There's a system, if you've heard of it, called the glymphatic system. So the glymphatics is the lymph in your brain, which actually drains and detoxes your body while you sleep, which is why sleep is so crucial, because that's when your brain actually detoxifies. But you can help that by doing things to cleanse and heal your sinus cavity. So you do the Navage, and you put these little tips in your nose and you start it actually pushes and pulls fluid through your sinus cavity. Okay. I took pictures of it one time of what was coming out of my sinus cavity. It was mind blowing. I've shown it to people. I haven't like put it on social media, but these thick
You might get
balls,
unfollowed. I'm just kidding.
I know, or I might get thousands of followers.
Yeah, you'll get thousands of followers that want to see it, and then some people will be like, "Oh, the
Exactly.
guy that posts his
Uh,
nasal stuff."
but there's mold and fungus, and you can see it because it's black and it's got these hyphae because they actually lodge into the sinus cavity. We have a sinus spray, so now I'll give you the practicals. We have a sinus spray on our website called Cleansing Sinus Spray.
Okay.
It was actually designed by us. It's Spirit of Health brand, and it has oxygen, a parasite formula, a biofilm buster that breaks down mold. It's got Ion Health Gut Restore in it, if you've heard of that. It has all these products together to break mold and fungus and parasites out of your sinus cavity. And you won't believe that you have this stuff in your sinuses until you actually start to use it.
Yeah.
So get the cleansing sinus spray. It's super powerful and potent. Get the Navage and start clearing your sinuses.
Does the Navage go all the way through your cavity, or it's just a tube on each side and it pushes it?
It's a tube on each side, so it pulls through
But it
one
doesn't
side.
you don't actually have to like shove it through or anything.
No. You just hold it there
Okay.
and it pulls it through one side and sucks it out the other.
That actually sounds a little less invasive than a neti pot in some ways.
It's actually really easy to use once you
Because
get
a
to use
neti pot, I mean, you really got to like get that pressure going out of the other side.
Yep. So it's way easier to use. What
Okay.
comes out is mind blowing. I add humic and fulvic minerals to mine, liquid form. Mother Earth Labs has a humic and fulvic SC, super concentrated. Iodine, you can put a few drops of iodine in there because iodine detoxifies the brain and the pineal gland, and iodine's in every cell of the body. It's crucial to human function. So I love adding iodine to it. You can add essential oils, little peppermint, little eucalyptus. Don't go crazy because, it's your sinuses and it's a sensitive area. But man, it's amazing how quickly you can clear seasonal allergies by clearing out the head, sinus, brain area. So another thing I'll mention that I like, because it's a formula I created and I love it, on our website called Sinus and Brain Steam Detox.
Okay.
So it's an herbal formula. You boil water, then you add the herbs to the boiling water, take a towel, put it over your head. And the herbs open up everything, gets that mucus, unclogged. And it has herbs in it like oregano and thyme and different antimicrobial herbs, but it also has the eucalyptus and menthol crystals and salt in it. So it's going to kill infections. It's going to open up your sinus cavity. It's going to start to emulsify or break down that mucus. And so I'm just really highlighting here that detoxifying your head is key to you overcoming chronic allergies, number one, because the mucosal system is the main problem. So I would work on this first, work on your colon cleanse, work on your lymphatic system cleanse. And if you do those things, seasonal allergies will never exist for you again.
Beautiful. Clean it out. Clean out the
Clean it out.
system.
Yep. It's all about cleansing. Cleansing.
It makes sense to me. It definitely makes sense after having gone through, like I said, years of the other side of things, taking the antihistamines and stuff, and then going through an actual where I was cleansing my body from this stuff. And I haven't taken an antihistamine in years.
Hallelujah.
So, yeah.
Cool. So food allergies. Think about the things that people are allergic to. What is gluten? What is casein? What is in nuts? Okay. It's a protein. They're all proteins. Okay. So undigested proteins getting through the colon into other parts of the body where they weren't designed to be is triggering an immune system response or a histamine response. So think of it like what's going on in your gut, what's going on in your bowels. That's where the food allergy is. It's a gut problem. It's a bowel problem. You need to clean your colon. You need to clean your bowels. You have leaky gut. So you're not going to have food allergies and food sensitivities if you don't have, you've heard this term leaky gut.
Yeah.
because
Can you define that for folks? Because I think maybe a lot of people hear the term
sure.
leaky gut, but they don't know what it means.
Yeah, so leaky gut it's kind of what it sounds like. It's your gut should not allow things deeper into your lymphatic system or your blood or your organs that aren't designed to be there. They're supposed to be handled, digested, eliminated out through your bowels. And the only things, the micronutrients and the things that you need are the only things that should be allowed into your bloodstream. So it's just my belief, and I mean, I've seen 10,000 people over 12 years, worked with a lot of chronic bowel conditions. It's one of my specialties, I guess you could say, Crohn's and colitis and diverticulitis and those things. Every single one of those people has chronic infections in their gut, and they've never been told it. So there is a strong correlation, and I don't want to say 100% because I don't want to be like totally dogmatic, but I have yet to find a person with a severe dairy allergy that didn't have parasites.
Interesting.
Okay, so if you have a dairy allergy, 99% chance you have parasites. The more food allergies, the more sensitivities you have, the more chronic bowel problem you have, and very likely the more problems you have with parasites, mold, fungus, and other infectious disease that gets in the bowels. So to answer your question of what causes leaky gut, it's fungus and mold and parasites getting into your bowel walls and opening up pockets of your bowels that shouldn't be open, that allow toxins and poisons and waste out into your bloodstream and liver and other organs. That's triggering an immune system response, because your immune system's an army that's supposed to protect you from things that shouldn't be there, from foreign invaders.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of a sudden we have gluten and casein from dairy and peanuts and whatever, eggs. A lot of people are allergic to eggs. These undigested proteins leaking through the bowel wall, triggering an immune system response, and that's a food allergy. And so that's why it's different than seasonal allergies. But I have seen food allergies clear time and time again with parasite cleanses.
Interesting.
My own mother was allergic to eggs and dairy and all kinds of things, and she did some parasite cleansing, and all of a sudden she could eat those things again and not have a problem.
Wow.
One of my favorite, so how I cleared my own meat allergy, I noticed that when I ate red meat, I would break out in hives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a crazy story of how I discovered it, because I didn't know what was going on at first, but by the third time, I figured out what was triggering it. It's not fun. So I did not only bowel cleansing and parasite cleansing, but so like when I recommend cleanses, and on our website, we have free downloads of where you can get a colon cleanse, parasite cleanse. You can get those things for free on our website under programs, but I'll always couple a colon cleanse with a parasite cleanse. So do a colon cleanse and a parasite cleanse together. The advanced parasite cleanse that we have is, I'm sure you've heard of Cellcore with some of the other practitioners and people you're talking about. Cellcore Bioscience has the best products for parasite cleansing. Mm-hmm. You couple those things together, that's huge for cleansing your bowels, getting parasites out of your bowels, clearing these food allergies. The thing I used primarily is an enzyme. So I do enzyme therapy. I use enzyme therapeutically. A lot of people think about enzymes, they just, you take an enzyme to help you digest your food.
Sure.
Using enzymes therapeutically is taking enzyme at high dosage to clean up all that old waste, all those old undigested proteins that are triggering immune responses. You can high dose enzymes on an empty stomach, and it'll clean all that waste out. So that's what I did. I high dosed an enzyme. It's just called Digest. It's by Perfect Balance. And the reason I use the Digest by Perfect Balance, because there's a bazillion enzymes on the market, is because it has the highest concentration of enzymes in one formula I've ever seen.
And where do they get these enzymes from?
The enzymes come from all kinds of different sources. Some plant-based, some animal-based. Okay. Like serapeptase. Serapeptase actually comes from a silkworm. I don't know if you've heard it. You've heard of probably bromelain coming from pineapple. So that they all have different sources.
Okay.
But what they do is they clean up this old undigested waste.
Mhm.
So I use Digest by Perfect Balance, and then they have one called protease. So protease is proteolytic enzymes, and protease is going to be specific to breaking down and digesting proteins in the body. So many things related to undigested proteins in the body, like fibromyalgia, for example, which is fibrin, which is scar tissue, which is a protein that's built up in the scar tissues.
Okay.
So I'm just explaining how I overcame my food allergy of red meat was by high dosing digest and protease enzymes by Perfect Balance. And I'm saying therapeutically on an empty stomach. So like when you wake up, before bed, not with meals. So it can break down old waste in the body. And now all of a sudden you can eat that food again because you don't have this excessive amount in your system that the body's immediately now triggered, and there's an immune system response. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah. So now you get to enjoy red meat again.
Now I can eat red meat again. Praise the Lord.
That's awesome. Well, that is fantastic information for folks to have in their arsenal, because I know so many people struggling with peanut, dairy, egg allergies, as you mentioned. The laundry list of people I know that have allergies that I need to send this episode to now is running through my brain.
Yeah.
But super helpful. Anything else that you want to share about allergies?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we touched on it. I just want people to know that there's things you can do. There's a reason why it's happening. God's trying to show us something. He's trying to tell us something. He's trying to teach us something because he wants us to be whole. He wants us to be healthy. He wants us to be well.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want us just to cover it up and pretend it's not there. Now, I will say, if you're having anaphylactic, you want to avoid that thing at all costs, and you don't want to risk anaphylaxis. But again, that just shows the severity of the leaky gut problem, the severity of likely the parasite or the infectious disease going on in that person. And we don't hear those things. Nobody who's taught us that information, that that's really what's going on. And so that's the beauty of what I get to do, is I get to help people with chronic illness, actually teach them and show them why they have it and help them to overcome it and know what to do for the future.
That's a beautiful thing, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I didn't have this resource when I was going through these issues. I wish I would have known you then, but here we are today, and I'm learning a ton. So,
Amen.
Quick question. Can you do a colon cleanse when you're pregnant, or a liver cleanse when you're pregnant?
Yes. So there are a couple cleanses and there are videos on this specifically on YouTube about pregnancy and cleansing. So if you search those things, you'll find it. It's amazing. Like I don't want to say I have a video for everything, but I have a lot of videos. But I did do a video specifically on that topic. So the main cleanses I recommend when a woman's pregnant is the colon cleanse and the kidney cleanse. And the colon cleanse is great because the colon's so important, as we mentioned, but it's nutritive. That cleanse has enzymes in it, chlorella, vitamin C, like crucial things that you need for good health. And it helps clear the bowels, but it doesn't involve anything invasive or anything like those really strong like bowel movers. It's not about that. It's about helping bulk and cleanse and move things through the bowels. Okay. And so I love the colon cleanse, the kidney cleanse when women are pregnant. I don't recommend our liver cleanse, but I do recommend women do our liver detox 1 tea, because those are all safe herbs that you can take while pregnant. Or like I like the PhytoCore by Orthomolecular. Like there's some good liver formulas. Liver Life by BioRay is a liquid. So there's a lot of really good, just safe liver formulas that women can do to just support their liver while they're pregnant. And then I would also add beef liver capsules, which I know you're a fan of. Yeah. Taking beef liver capsules with pregnancy, also huge, very beneficial to the liver. So that's what I would recommend during pregnancy.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much for another great informational episode. I know, like I said, I can't wait to just send this off to a bunch of people. If you are looking to connect with Dr. Vaughn, be sure, visit his website, spiritofhealthkc.com, his store at store.spiritofhealthkc.com, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Spirit of Health or Spirit of Health KC. Definitely check out his YouTube. go to the show notes for this episode and you can get all the stuff. He mentioned a ton of stuff. I will list them in the show notes here to give some quick links to everything so you guys can grab those easily and yeah, grab all the stuff that you need.
Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Vaughn.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for tuning in and for being on this journey with us. If you'd like to follow along outside the podcast, as always, you can join us at The Radiant Mission on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. And if you're loving the show or this episode was helpful, please be sure to share it with a friend. Today, we are closing with Isaiah 38:16. Lord, by such things people live, and my spirit finds life in them too. You restored me to health and let me live. And we're wishing you a radiant week. Bye, guys.